Royal unity. Princess Leonor and Prince Guillaume wedding sparks global frenzy. The world expected tradition. A quiet royal ceremony, elegant and formal, the kind of event Europe has seen 100 times before. But when Princess Leonor of Spain and Prince Guillaume came together, what unfolded was not just another royal wedding. It was a moment that shook the foundations of monarchy itself. Because this time, something deeper was happening. This was not simply the union of two royal bloodlines, it was the birth of a new era of royal unity. No one could have imagined the emotional power of that day. The streets of Madrid overflowed with flags, cheers, and tears. But behind the celebrations, whispers echoed through palaces from Spain to Luxembourg. How did this union come to be? What forces brought Princess Leonor, Spain's disciplined, future queen, together with Prince Guillaume, Luxembourg's quiet, thoughtful heir? And why has their wedding sparked such global fascination, even among those who once ignored royal affairs? To understand, we must go back, before the vows, before the headlines, before the frenzy. Leonor grew up knowing her destiny was unlike anyone else's. From the moment she was born, she carried the weight of a nation divided by history, yet united by hope. Her father, King Felipe VI, taught her discipline. Her mother, Queen Letizia, gave her empathy, heart, and the courage to be herself. But no lesson could prepare her for love, especially not the kind that crosses borders, traditions, and centuries of protocol. It was during a diplomatic event in Brussels that the first spark was seen. Leonor, representing Spain's youth at a European cultural summit, was introduced to Prince Guillaume of Luxembourg. Cameras captured their polite smiles, nothing unusual, nothing suspicious. Yet those who were there say that moment felt different. Their exchange was simple, brief, but charged with an energy few could explain. Over time, their paths crossed again. At royal galas, charity events, formal receptions. But what began as friendship slowly grew into something more profound. Both were heirs, both living under the constant gaze of expectation, both yearning for a connection that felt real. By the time their relationship became public, it was too late for speculation, the world had already fallen in love with their story. Two royals from different traditions, bound not by politics, but by something purer. And as the wedding date approached, the excitement reached fever pitch. The morning of the ceremony was unlike any other. The air in Madrid shimmered with emotion. Bells rang across the city. Thousands gathered outside the Almudena Cathedral, holding flowers, Spanish flags, and even Luxembourg banners, symbols of two nations joining in harmony. Inside, the royal family was seated in quiet anticipation. Queen Letizia, radiant but visibly emotional, held her younger daughter Sophia's hand. King Felipe stood tall, every inch the monarch, but in his eyes, the tenderness of a proud father watching his daughter take her place in history. Then the music began. The doors opened, and Princess Leonor appeared. Her gown, simple yet magnificent, flowed like liquid gold beneath the light of the stained glass windows. The crowd gasped. The photographers fell silent. Even seasoned journalists forgot to speak. And at the altar, waiting for her, was Prince Guillaume, his eyes glistening, his posture steady, his heart laid bare for all to see. As the ceremony unfolded, it became clear this was more than a royal spectacle. This was a message. To Spain, to Europe, to the world. A declaration that royalty could evolve, that love could unite where politics divide, that the next generation of monarchs could lead with humanity, not hierarchy. Every vow they spoke felt deeply personal. Leonor promised devotion not only to Guillaume but to the shared vision of compassion and unity they both believed in. Guillaume, in turn, vowed to support her not just as a husband, but as a partner in purpose. It wasn't about power. It was about partnership. When they exchanged rings, the cathedral erupted in applause, a rare, emotional break in royal formality. Outside, crowds wept openly. And in that moment, something shifted. Europe, often fragmented, often distant, felt connected through two hearts that dared to love beyond borders. But as with every royal story, the wedding's beauty was just the beginning. The frenzy that followed was unlike anything modern monarchies had seen. Within hours, news outlets from London to New York, Copenhagen to Tokyo, carried the same headline, the wedding that changed everything. Why? Because this wasn't just about romance, it was about renewal. The Spanish monarchy, long battling skepticism and modern pressures, suddenly felt alive again. Younger generations, who once dismissed royalty as outdated, found themselves inspired by Leonor's sincerity and courage. And in Luxembourg, Prince Guillaume's people saw their future defined not by ancient rules, but by love that transcended tradition. But with admiration came scrutiny. Political commentators questioned what this union meant for diplomacy. Could Spain and Luxembourg form a deeper alliance? Would this signal a shift in European royal influence? Some whispered of rivalry, others of hope. Even within royal circles, the shockwaves were undeniable. Denmark's Queen Margrethe reportedly called the event a symbol of modern grace. The British royals sent an unusually heartfelt statement, praising Leonor's strength and vision. Meanwhile, behind the walls of the Spanish palace, discussions turned to what this marriage might mean for the monarchy's future. And yet, through all the speculation, Leonor and Guillaume remained composed, calm amid the storm. They smiled. They held hands. They visited hospitals and charities together. Every gesture reminded the world why their story mattered. Because beyond the crowns and ceremonies, theirs was a story of two souls who refused to let history dictate their destiny. A story that reminded us that even in a world of power, love remains the most powerful force of all. Weeks after the wedding, as they appeared together on the palace balcony, the crowd below began chanting something unexpected, not just, Viva España, not just, Viva Luxemburgo, but, Viva la Unión. Long live the unity. It was then that everyone realized, this wedding wasn't just a royal event. It was a movement. A reminder that humanity, empathy, and connection can bridge even the oldest divides. And as the sun set over Madrid that evening, with golden light washing over the palace walls, one thing was certain: Princess Leonor and Prince Guillaume had done more than unite two royal houses. They had united hearts across nations. In that single day, they didn't just make history. They redefined it. Because true royalty isn't found in bloodlines or titles, it's found in the courage to love boldly, lead with compassion, and remind the world that even the oldest traditions can still write new beginnings. And that is exactly what Princess Leonor and Prince Guillaume have done. They didn't just spark a global frenzy. They ignited hope for a new kind of royalty, one where love, unity, and purpose reign above all.